Many travelers dream of experiencing the beauty of Tanzania, from its stunning national parks to vibrant cultural sites. Yet the costs often seem overwhelming. But with Visit Tanzania for Less, exploring this East African gem on a budget is not only possible, but incredibly rewarding. Whether you're a solo backpacker, a volunteer, or just a budget-conscious traveler, we provide valuable insights and resources to make your journey unforgettable without breaking the bank. Book your trip now with just a $300 deposit and flexible monthly payments until your travel date. For more travel inspiration and tips, follow us on Instagram or visit us at visittanzaniaforless.com. Visit Tanzania for Less, your dream adventure within reach.
Welcome to Two on the 2 Your Show for news, information, and more for this September 13, 2024. In the business for over 4 years, I'm your host, Gregory T. Roberts, the originator with my co-partner with big news. I'm gonna let him take care of it, Pastor Melvin Burns.
News. Well, those of you that listen and watch the program, I was absent the last 2 weeks. The main reason I was absent is because on September the 1st, I was married to the lovely Patricia Archie Baskin, who is now Patricia Archie Burns. And
Nice.
we spent a nice week away in Punta Cana. And so I'm glad.
Balling like that, huh?
Well, you know how they pay me around here. But I'm glad to say that now a married man and looking forward to spending many years together with my bride.
All right.
My brother.
Welcome to the show, Touring the 2 Your Show for news, information, and more. That happens every Friday at 2 o'clock on WBS 103.7 The Beat and M106, brought to you by Bishop Custom Series and Entertainment. When you need something done, see the bishop. That's all. I mean, talk to the bishop. All right. A couple things that we want to tell you. If you have a chance to, if you're driving and you're listening to the show and you want to watch the show, you can always go to our media sites, whether it's WBS 103.7 The Beat or M106 or the Emoji app or YouTube. We are there. What's up, my nephew? Thank you for watching. Your comment, we're going to get you on one of these days. Lavelle Kersey from Muskegon. All right. What's the weather looking like, my brother?
Oh, this is a beautiful September weekend. Good weekend to watch some football today.
And I can go celebrate my Irish roots.
Irish festival going on. Today and tomorrow, high of 86 degrees. It don't get better than that.
No better.
Sunday, cloudy, but still a high of 84. Excuse me. Monday, low of 60, high of 84. Tuesday, low of 60, high of 83. Sunny again. Wednesday, sunny, low 58, high of 83. Thursday, we do the same thing. Low of 60, high 82, and sunny. It doesn't get much better.
Don't get much better. We have to make an announcement first that it's election time. You know that. We're going to start interviewing candidates, which means that we are right down the line. We ask people to send questions. We don't show any partiality. That's the only thing that we want you to know is their agenda. Although some of the time it hurts to be that way, but we want you to know the facts. And that starts with our first guest today at 2:30. Now, with that said, we have a special guest on today that has not been on the show. I'm excited to talk to her. Who do we have?
Today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is Dr. Berretta Herard. She is a new guest to the show and the new principal at Timberland Charter Academy. And she's one of those rare people who knew what they wanted to be at a very young age. She said she's always known she wanted to be in education and be a teacher. And she spent her professional career doing that. She's earned her bachelor's from Alabama State. She has a master's in education, of course, and she has a PhD in leadership and administration. We're glad to welcome her to Muskegon community. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome to the microphone today our guest, Dr. Berretta Herard.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you doing?
We are doing well. We're excited to have you on the show for the first time. Just relax. We're going to have a casual conversation.
Okay.
Melvin mentioned a little bit about yourself, but tell us some more.
Well, I want to start out by saying I was born in Alabama because, as you can tell, I attended Alabama State University, which is a HBCU, one of the original ones. So I love HBCUs. I'm for them all day, every day. And I also started my career back in 2003 as a teacher. So, and it has been up from there. I developed a love for teaching. And when I was a kid, like you mentioned, I used to play teacher all the time. I always wanted to help the teacher be like, oh, I'm the teacher's aide. So teaching has been in my blood for a very long time. And that was my mother. She wanted to be a teacher, so I kind of fulfilled that career for her because I'm the first generation graduate in my family.
Nice.
Awesome.
Right. And I spent a lot of time, like I said, if you know anything about Alabama, and I was born in Selma, so we have a lot of history in Selma. We host the Jubilee all the time. So that's just my roots. And I'm always doing whatever I can for my community and for my people.
What brings you to Muskegon?
What now?
What brings you to Muskegon?
Oh, Muskegon. So, well, I joined National Heritage Academy, which is our owner of Timberland Charter. So I started in Indianapolis with at Andrew J. Brown, and then as I was leaving where Andrew J. Brown closed, so then I was like, I like the Midwest, and I was like, am I ready to go back to the South? Absolutely not. So anyway, so of course I did my research, and one thing I tell everybody is that I am a child from Muskegon because I was born in this little small area called Delwood. So I know what the struggle is and what they need firsthand because that's my roots and that's where I come from. So being that because there were many other choices that I could have chosen, but I chose Muskegon because I saw a need and I wanted to fill that need. And I know that I am best for that position because I see a lot of potential, but what I don't see is the turning or the change agent. So I want to be that change agent for that community because as I look at the news and I sit here and I ask myself all the time, what can I do? Because my little small town in Selma has these same issues and concerns. And then one thing about it, I am an advocate to bring us up, to pull us up, do whatever I can and show them that was me, but look at me now.
Right.
So, and it was very, like I said, it was very similar, small area. If you ever research Selma or go there, you would be able to say, oh, this looks much like, where I'm from. So I wanted to bring my experience here, show my babies that you can be a doctor one day as well.
Nice.
Okay. So what has the reception been for you in the time you've been here in Muskegon so far?
Like as far as the community?
Yes.
I feel like they were very happy to have me. The parents have been this excited because they was like, oh, she's so personable. So I get out, I try to talk to them. I went over to the park and had popsicles in the park, and I was just in the trenches and showing them like, we're here together. I'm here to make a change. And I think one thing I noticed about the parent, they're very thankful for that. And they see that, I have a passion for learning. I have a passion for my people and just to bring us all together so that we can, make a change in this community because I want to help the community as well.
Sure.
So my parents, they're receptive. That when they ask for me, I'm standing there. Here I am. Talk to me.
Before we get into Timberland, I wanted to talk to you about something that's happening in the national scenes. There are people that want to get rid of the Department of Education, which I think is wrong. I don't think they're perfect, but I think there are some things that they need to do differently. But What are your thoughts on that?
I think we need the Department of Education. I think that provides us with a streamline of where we need to go and how we need to educate our babies. Instead of getting rid of it, I think they need to provide more funding to train and prepare teachers, to be able to face the challenges that we're dealing with today. And I think that the Department of Education has our best interests in mind, because if you did get rid of the Department of Education, who suffer? We suffer. We're going to suffer the most.
Right.
So we need that. We got to advocate to keep it, because we come too far, like they said, to let it all go now. So I think Department of Education, they have a good program. They're trying to bring in more educators. They're looking at, what's going on, because what happens when they get rid of it, our communities suffer.
Okay. Talk to us about Timberland Charter Academy.
Oh, wow. So Timberland Charter Academy, as you know, it was chartered in 1998. So that means it's been around for quite some time, over 20 years in this community. And we're here to serve, our underprivileged, provide them with a different level of education that's different from the traditional public school. We have a curriculum here that is designed to meet the needs of all students, and it's also it's very diverse. There's no discrimination, and we have a wealth of teachers that we're training. We have a lot of teachers, and then they also have me, which I am here, to be like the face of Timberland and to ensure that we're educating our students. But it's a really, I would say overall, it's a really good program. We have sports here, and I know the children love sports. So we have our own sports, and I want to highlight that we have cheerleading, we have bowling, which I think is very unique, basketball, flag football, volleyball. Our girls have been out going back and forth to Grand Rapids playing volleyball. And also we have a data tracking system here where we start on day one, assessing our babies individual just to see what we need to target so that we can teach our babies how to read, so that when they do reach middle and high school, they're able to read. And we have K-8 here. So once your babies come here, guess what? They stay here to the 8th grade. So by the time they leave here, it is our goal that they are reading. But we have a lot of support staff, and we have communities and schools, which is a great program that's within Michigan where we can locate resources to help our babies. We also have some agencies in place for the homeless. We try to give out uniform. We try to partner with all of our local communities to try to get every resource we can, because we see that there is a need for our babies. So that's our goal, to fill that. And by educating them, we also have a more focused program where we focus on a different word every month, just to try to help the students, gain that self-awareness and be able to deal with different things that we're dealing with in the community right now. And it comes into practice because every time I turn on the news, I'm like, oh my goodness, something else has happened, in our community. So we just try to provide that safe haven by having different counselors here, just to help our babies to be able to not only, learn the skills, but give them like a way to be able to express themselves. So I have several people on staff to help them with things like that.
I love the fact that you say our babies, that you take ownership.
Yeah, they are our babies.
How important is it in the time when they're trying to whitewash and get rid of a certain part of history, that we teach our kids accurate history and the truth of what has happened in our country?
I think it's very important. And coming from an HBCU, I'm going to tell you, I took African American Humanities. And one thing I tell you, I learned a lot. And when I was in school, especially back in Selma, where it was a time where you didn't learn about anything, but what George Washington, Columbus and them did, so we learned the truth about history. Going back, so I will say that it is very important that they learn Black history, and not only the old history, but the new history. Like, what are our people doing now? Who are our pioneers of this community, or just communities around the world? Just bring it, because they need to know that we have people like you are. You all are great, people in the neighborhood or in the area that they need to know about. But if you leaving all the history in one race, then they don't know who's important, other than where they hear like rap music. And I don't and rappers are important, but it's important that they learn Black history. That's why in February and any other month to me, every month is Black History Month to me. But I try to make sure that we capitalize on our own heroes of the community and heroes just around this world.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Dr. Herard, tell us about your leadership at the school. I mean, obviously, you're a new superintendent, but you bring your own unique person to the leadership role. Tell us what people can expect with your leadership at the school.
Well, number one, I'm about educating my babies and getting them prepared to compete in this global society. I want them to understand what they got to face in this world every day. So
Right.
not only am I getting them acclimated with the curriculum, but I want to teach them life skills and teach them that there are other places outside of, just Muskegon, that you can be successful, and just show them that, you can go anywhere in this world once you're educated. So I want them to understand, like, I'm role modeling, and I show them, and it's amazing because when I first got here, they say, "What kind of doctor are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm a PhD doctor." And they was like, "Oh, wow." That's like, "So what did you have to do to get there?" And I'll say, "You know what? I started like you all started. I'm not rich. I started out from the bottom." And I said, "All you got to do is work your way up." And they all like, "Work your way up." I said, "Well, I went to college for 13 years. I said, but it was worth it, because what I see is you all looking up to me as a great role model, and they're interested in how I got to where I am." So here I'm trying to show parents as well as students that if you educate yourself, the sky is the limit.
Okay. So we're 3 weeks into the school year.
Mhm.
Tell us what that's been like, your first experience at the school here.
Well, my first experience here has been me getting into the community. Like, I've been out to an outreach center just to put myself in the community. I did, like I said, Popsicles in the Park over in Muskegon Heights. I showed them that I'm coming to you. If you can't come to me, I'm gonna come to you. So what I wanted them to see was that this is not just a title for me. This is something that I'm doing to make a change in the community. So, like I said, I've been very personal with the parents. Anytime they ask to see me, I've been talking to them. I let them know what I'm standing for. I tell them, when your children are here, they're in a safe haven. And that's what I'm providing for them. Anything you need, let me know. You don't have to feel like, because sometimes parents will feel like, well, this is school and it's the parents. I said, no, it's not that. We're a village. I need everybody hands on deck. So I've been having several events to try to get them out. I had like a fun day before school started. I had like a couple orientations and curriculum night, just whatever I can to let them know, because I want the parents involved, because when you get the parents involved, you get more help. So that's my goal. Is I've been trying to reach my parents, but just going throughout the community, putting myself out there, letting them know that I'm here. So I think we have a table set up at the prayer breakfast tomorrow. And so just put myself in the community so they can know who I am. And I've been explaining to them what the curriculum entails and what it looks like, and also giving them activities to try to help their children to be successful.
How important is it that the parents understand that whether it's an academy, whether it's a private, whether it's a public school, that it's important to find the right place for your child to learn?
Yeah, I think that's very important, because if you don't have faith in the school, or if you don't think the school is providing what your child needs, then you're not going to have a vested interest in your child's education. So I think selecting the school, selecting the program, and one thing a lot of parents have been telling me is, my child is at Timberland, I don't have to worry about them. So it's very important that they feel like we're here for their kids. This is safety first. Like I tell them, I'm going to protect all kids. So I think that parents need to feel that welcome, Like they don't need to feel like, well, oh, I'm an outsider. The school doesn't care about my voice. I always start out with letting them talk to me and let them tell me how they feel, so that when they bring them here, they'll feel like, oh, I don't have to worry like this parent told me in the board meeting, because my child is at Timberland and I know what they stand for. So it's very important that they have a buy-in. So that's why I'm putting myself in the community, meeting with them when they want to. I mean, I'm sending questions, I'm sending out surveys, because I want them to know that this is the place for your baby.
Part two of that question, how important is it that no matter where you are educational-wise, where you teach in public academy or private, that you guys work together? Because you mentioned a word that a lot of schools don't mention, that it's global. This is a global. This is about worldwide, having our kids being able to compete with other kids across the country and the world.
So my focus, like I said, is to get them to see that once you get your education, you are unstoppable and you can go places. So yes, it is important that I prepare students for college and career readiness. Yes, it is important that kids learn lifelong skills, because college is not for everyone. But I want them to get whatever tools necessary to be able to survive, whether you pick a trade school or whether you pick McDonald's, Burger King. I want to prepare them to be the best at whatever they do. So it is my goal to ensure that students are receiving whatever necessary that they need, like you said, so they can compete in a global society, because that's what other countries do. That's why they come over here, because they learn education and they learn how to function on a global area.
Okay. Dr. Herard, tell us, we get educators on here from time to time. For people that may be listening, I want you to first speak to parents that may be listening to our program, that may be, for some others, maybe considering schools or changing schools. Tell them why they want to bring their children out to Timberland.
Oh, well, first of all, we try to cap our class sizes. We try to, because oftentimes, and I'm not bragging, but sometimes public school, they have large class sizes. So first of all, we try to cap our class sizes, keep them very low. So right now, most of our classes, some of them are at 2022, which is a good number. But also, get this, we have a certified teaching apparel in most of the classrooms to serve as a help. So that's one thing. You have more than one teacher in the classroom. Okay. Also, like I said, we have a K-8 setting, and we try to have lots and lots of parent events to try to keep parents involved. And also, one of our goals is for our new parents coming in to just track our new parents and give them follow-up calls and build a relationship, get the surveys. And what we do is, once we look at the surveys, we try to adhere to what the parents are looking for. So that's another thing. And then we're fully staffed. That's not what I'm hearing across the board. Like a lot of schools are like, oh, how you get to be fully staffed? Well, one thing I do is I overhire.
Okay.
And then I have a training program that I put my teachers in from day one. Like, we start the training. So, and then we have a monitoring system where we checking in and checking out with the teachers. And also I have academic behavior specialists for each grade band to ensure that our students are not just here, focusing on foolery, but we're focusing on education. So I have them to go in and out of classes to ensure that we're having class.
Okay.
Well, I think about teachers that made a big difference in my life, and I can name them. How important it is that those teachers are invested in those kids' life and not collecting a paycheck?
Oh, trust me, my evaluation process, and I tell teachers this in interviews, teaching comes from the heart. You will never get paid for the time that you're going to spend with my babies. Because over the years, and I'm going into year 22, I've spent countless of hours going above and beyond for these babies. So here I have a goal. If I see it, I'm going to ask you. If it's just a paycheck, you can exit. Because my babies need more than a paycheck. They
Right.
need people that are here for them, people that understand them, people that's willing to go the extra mile, that's willing to get in the car and go with me to the neighborhood to figure out why my child's not in school. And I always tell the parents, I said, well, they minds because they with me longer than with you. Most of the time, they here with me all day. So just identifying the teachers, and I'm gonna tell you like this, I'm gonna wean them out. You're not gonna be here for a paycheck because these babies need more than that.
Say that. Say that again.
Mhm.
Okay, Dr. Herard, you spoke to the parents. Every school counts on support, volunteers. So, would you this is your chance, kind of make a pitch to our community about some of the other support that your school could use.
I would like to get more partnerships.
Okay.
Because one thing about it, working in Atlanta public schools and DeKalb County schools, and we had, I was telling the lady yesterday, I said I was spoiled because we had the Falcons and we had the, we had the Braves, and we had people just, coming in and supporting the school. So one thing I would want parents to do is just look for some partnerships, look for some professionals that are in the area that could come over in partnership and show them, like I said, something different. And I think one thing I want to incorporate again is when you have that professional day where you have entrepreneurs to come in and just show them, this is what I do. So I'm definitely looking for partnerships. I'm looking for parent volunteers who are willing to come up and, and just say, hey, I'm here to help with this event, because I'm trying to incorporate, like I said, an event every month that's bringing in parents so they can get comfortable with us and see what we stand for. So if any avenues out there, they know anyone that could come in partnership, because I was like, what about the Detroit Lions? They was like, I said, you never know, because I was watching the news and one was here at over at the waterfront, I think. And I said, we could have partnered with him, try to get a little, come over and show our kids a good time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So give us all the information, the contact information, so people can get in touch with you to get into your institution.
Okay, so they can call me at 231-767-9700. So if they call me at that number, and it's of course Dr. Berretta Herard, and then or they can email me at 9.BHERARD@NHAschools.com. So they can get in touch with me. But if they dial that number and leave me a message or send me an email, I would definitely be more than happy to talk to them. And they will tell you, I check all my messages and I return all my calls, because I'm looking to get in this community and let them know that I'm here for them.
Okay.
Last one, why Timberland?
Because, like I said, Timberland, it reminds me of my hometown, and I see that they are in need of a great role model, and I felt like I was be the perfect person to step in, because I try to be vulnerable and I let them know, hey, I didn't come from a rich family. I am the struggle. I'm just at a different stage of the struggle. But as long as my people are struggling, I'm struggling with them.
What grades do you now you said it. What grades do you do carrying out? You guys go from kindergarten to 8th?
Young 5s to 8th grade.
Okay.
Yep, but Timberland is my heart. 80% of my babies look just like me. And I'm here to be, to show their parents, hey, I'm here with you. I'm vulnerable. I'm here. I'm humble. And whatever you need, I'm here to help support. So that was my heart when they said, why Timberland in my interview? And I told them, because I see that they need a change agent.
Okay.
Well, I know you got a question.
No, I was going to say, Dr. Herard, again, welcome to our community.
Thank you.
Hope you have a good year. We want to make sure we check back in with you through the school year. I was going to say, if you need a bowling consultant for your bowling team, I have a ringer sitting next to me here.
Oh, really? So guess what? So when I send an email and say, can you come to one of our games? So I hope to see you there.
I'm a former bowling coach, and I would be honored.
Yay. Thank you.
All right. Doctor, thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow. A lot of information. That was fantastic.
Awesome. I think Timberland is in good hands.
It's in great hands.
Yes.
Before we get to our next guest, I have to go back to, we're going into political season,
Yes, we are.
and that means we're going to interview every candidate that we possibly can. Let me say this with a disclaimer, and the disclaimer comes, and this is me, Greg Roberts. If you don't blame nobody else, talk to me. We reach out to talk to every candidate, Republican, Independent, Green Party, Democrat. We reach out, we make hundreds of phone calls. All we can do is expect for you to come. We're giving you the opportunity to express and tell our community what you can do. What we will not do, and I'm telling my producer right now, is try to hunt you down over and over again. What we do is that we try to give every candidate the same amount of time to express. No one gets 2 or 5 minutes more than the other, but we try to be right in the middle and fair. But with that said, we have a lot of people that say, why don't you interview these candidates? Because they refuse to come on the show. Now, that's their choice. That's their choice. But my question is to you, if they're looking for your vote and don't come and express their agenda, it's something that you need to think about.
I don't disagree with one thing you said. We give everybody the opportunity. And if your candidate didn't show up, don't blame us.
Don't blame us, because we are looking for them to come and talk to you. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be coming back with our next guest. You watching or listening to Torn in Two on 103.7 to be with Gregory T. Roberts and Pastor Melvin Burns II. We'll see you in a second.
Many travelers dream of experiencing the beauty of Tanzania, from its stunning national parks to vibrant cultural sites. Yet the costs often seem overwhelming. But with Visit Tanzania for Less, exploring this East African gem on a budget is not only possible, but incredibly rewarding. Whether you're a solo backpacker, a volunteer, or just a budget-conscious traveler, we provide valuable insights and resources to make your journey unforgettable without breaking the bank. Book your trip now with just a $300 deposit and flexible monthly payments until your travel date. For more travel inspiration and tips, follow us on Instagram or visit us at visittanzaniaforless.com. Visit Tanzania for Less, your dream adventure within reach.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
When smoking gives you COPD, you learn to lie a little bit. You make up excuses like, I have to get my keys. You guys go on. Anything so you can walk at your own pace. I used to do that all the time. Those lies don't work anymore. My tip is, the worst lies are the lies you tell yourself. Like smoking isn't that dangerous.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
And welcome back to 103.7 to be torn into. Listen, it's political season, it's campaign season, and you have a lot of people knocking at your doors, texting you, phone calls and everything, mailing you and asking for your vote. We have the pleasure to have somebody that we've seen and we know very well, the Honorable Judge Gregory Pittman in the studio. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, G. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right.
I'm doing well.
Thank
you. For the people that don't know you, which Introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Glad to. Glad to. This is campaign season, so you don't take anything for granted.
Right.
Before I move any further, I am asking you two gentlemen for your vote. I need your vote. I need your vote.
Yes, sir.
All right. Then I'm going to ask everybody out there for their vote. Why should you vote for me? Well, my name is Gregory Pittman. I'm born and raised here in Muskegon Heights. Still live downtown Muskegon. Graduated from Muskegon Heights High School in 1979. Every time I say that to young people now, when I go to classes and talk to them, they like, ooh. they can't even conceptualize 1979. Went on to Michigan State University, got my bachelor's degree there in public administration, and went on to Indiana University Maurer School of Law, received my law degree, and originally was hired into the prosecutor's office in Indianapolis in Marion County. And things did not work out like they needed to work out. And I came back to Muskegon and went to work first with the Michigan Liquor Control Commission under the Department of Commerce here in the state of Michigan, and then began practice in Grand Rapids with the Kent County Public Defender's Office. And from there, came back to Muskegon to work and live, never stopped living here, with the law firm then of Williams, Hughes, Corwin, and Sininger. Worked in that firm for nearly 3 years, and then was appointed as magistrate of the 60th District Court. And then in 1998, I had the honor of being appointed by John Engler to the probate court bench, and that's where I've been ever since, reelected 5 times over the course of this now 26 years.
So you spent 26 years as a judge in Muskegon County?
Yes, sir. 2 years as a magistrate before that.
Judge, you are the incumbent, so I have to ask this question or express a thought to you,
okay,
and see what you think. As like, you said something to us one time, and it rings a bell, that if you know me, you would stay out of my court. I mean, that's the simple way of saying it. But I think about a lot of people that have come into your court and they don't understand that you have to conduct law.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they don't understand it's not favoritism.
That's right.
It's not your opinion. It's the law.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about that.
I'd be glad to, and thank you for remembering that. I certainly wish I was more articulate than that in what I was expressing. But what you're talking about, G-Man, is the idea that many of our ancestors, when I say our ancestors, I'm talking about Black folks. I'm talking about other minority group folks, fought and marched and coalesced together and worked hard to create the opportunity, excuse me, to know that when they go into these institutions, including our court system, that they're going to have a fair day in court, which has not always been the history of this country. So it kind of it is a little unsettling to that thought that when you now see an African American, a Black man, Black woman sitting on the bench, that there's somehow a different application of the law to the facts because they're Black, and there's the expectation maybe of that particular litigant that because you're Black, you are going to do things differently. And I think that that is an insult to the memory and to the hard work and to the legacy of our people who worked so incredibly hard to create the avenue that the institution of the United States court system would be fair and impartial and would apply the law and the facts that come before that law without favor of person or position or situation. So if someone is, I think, operating under the thought that my presence or any other African American man or woman's presence on the bench is going to create a new and different lane of the application of jurisprudence, they are not only wrong, they are not appreciating the legacy of we Black people in this country.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be there and do what is fair and right because that's what they fought for the opportunity to have that
And want it.
and want that. Absolutely. So anybody who might be representing to you that there is a different application of the law that should be provided by a jurist of color is really, really doing a disservice to our institutions, to our legacies, to our forefathers and mothers, and to the idea of what is really, really, and what this country really should be all about. That's my thought.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. We've interviewed I don't know how many judges, and their campaigns are different. But well, what you say there, every interview, you ask them what makes a good judge, and the first thing they all say is follow the law.
Yeah,
which is exactly what you stated here. But this is campaign season. Tell us a little bit about the campaign trail and how things have been going.
Campaign season. Well, I both of you all are gentlemen who have been intricately involved in the process of getting people elected or trying to become elected or becoming elected. And I got to tell you, Mel, this is hard for me.
You know what? I was just getting to say, man, it's hard when you're picking up those campaign signs in the rain when you lost.
That's where I've been. That's where I've been for the last 2 hours, delivering campaign signs. But listen, that part is not necessarily the difficult part. Gee, man, you know it. You've run for, very significant offices in your time. It is the process of having to, and I use the term without derision, but the term, you have to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Over
and over.
Yeah.
And that means you have to start talking about who you are. And of course, I'm not going to tell you about the 15 mistakes I made last week. I'm going to tell you about the 3 or 4 victories or things that I did well.
Okay.
Which, is so antithetical to who I am. And I don't say that with any false humility. I just don't talk about myself. You two guys, I've known you guys more than I've known you, man. Probably, Lindbergh and G. I know I've known you 40 years.
Yes.
Lindbergh was an elementary school in Muskegon Heights.
Absolutely.
Built in 1929 for those.
Named after Charles A. Lindbergh.
Like to educate our audience.
And you guys aren't that way. You're not built like that. You don't go around telling, hey, man, how you doing, G? Well, let me tell you, I just did such and so, and I did this and that, and I guess got this. That's not who you are.
No.
But in campaign season, that's kind of who you have to start turning into. Yeah. So people will be cognizant not only of what they think they know about you, but you make sure that they understand some of the things that you've accomplished. So it gives them the thought that this is somebody I should support.
Yeah. Well, you've been on the bench 26 years, and that's, our job is to inform and educate the public.
Yeah.
So let's assume we haven't known you as long as we have, and let's draw a little bit out of your day because we want to educate our audiences.
Okay.
Aside from being a judge, tell us a little bit about some of the things you've been involved in the community.
Thank you. So I moved back here permanently in 1991.
Mhm.
And that's the year I was sworn into the bar. So I was one of the first things I gotten engaged in is I was appointed to the Muskegon Heights School Board under Superintendent John Sidnor,
Wow.
who was, certainly a role model and absolutely a mentor to me. I don't know how
Yes.
how you guys
Yeah,
felt
sure.
about him,
Absolutely.
but I made it my business to make him part of my training and upbringing
Sure.
as a professional and as a professional Black man.
Mhm.
So that would have been 91. I joined the school board in 92, so I was 31.
Okay.
Got married that year too,
Okay.
so there was no stress going on in 92 for me, was there? Brand new wife and on the high school board.
Uh-huh.
And as y'all may recall, 1992 was pretty pivotal moment for Muskegon Heights Public
Right.
Schools.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We were following on the heels of Kalkaska, if you remember Kalkaska Public Schools in the north,
Mhm.
where eventually the state just shut them down
Mm.
because they had mismanaged their funds, and essentially they had about 2.5 months more school than they had money.
Wow.
And they weren't playing
Mhm.
back then,
Mhm.
and they closed Kalkaska down. And who was next on the list? Muskegon
Yeah,
Heights.
Yeah.
Muskegon Heights was next on the list. Discussions of taking them into receivership, which is a legal status that allows somebody else to make the decisions about what happens with your money, with the intent on that institution not really existing anymore. And I came in after a recall of 4 school board members after the real difficulty when Superintendent Joanne Roberts was here. I mean, there was even
Wow.
assertions of fire bombings. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. Remember that? Yeah.
Oh man, it was it was happening
Yeah.
in the Heights. However you chose to see it, it was going on.
Yeah.
So I joined that board at a time when we had to figure out how to get beyond all of those things locally, as well as to find a path to vitiate the school or state of Michigan and let us continue to move forward. Proudly, we figured it out. Proudly, we were able to find means by which the state said, okay, we're going to keep working with you. When I joined that board in 1992, we were at about $1.5 million, headed to $2 million in deficit.
Okay.
When I left that board in 1994, because of taking a role with the firm that represented the board when I joined the Williams firm, we were at just about $500,000 surplus.
Okay.
Now, of course, you guys know that included the toilet paper, that included the pens and
Right.
paper, but we were on the positive side of the ledger. I am so proud of that.
Good.
Judge, talk about, you've spent 26 years in. And if elected, where do you see things that you would like to expand on for your next?
Well, thank you, G. Where I would want to spend the next few years in another term, I was just, here we go bragging. I was just recognized by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services for the work that I've done as a co-chairman of a statewide task force that was imbued with the responsibility of expanding the avenues for children who've been removed from their families to be able to engage and stay connected with their extended relatives. It's a very, very complicated process. I won't try to go into the details, but normally when a kid is removed from their their family, it's not just always a natural that they're going to go to someone else in their family. There's licensing issues and there's funding issues. And our task force was tasked with, let's figure out how to get past those barriers if the legislature isn't moving, to be able to make sure that children who are removed don't lose their family.
Right.
So I was recognized. It's called kinship care. That's kind of the shorthand title of this space. And I was recognized as a champion of the kinship care space and received that award a couple weeks ago. So what do I want to do? I want to continue that work. I'm, essentially recognized in the state of Michigan as a judiciary expert in the idea of expanding opportunities for children to remain connected to their families. There's a second project that I'm working on now with, and I'll tell you, I'll put her name out there, Leslie Slater. You know Leslie.
Yes.
She works for the Department of Health and Human Services, does an incredible job working with probably the most difficult cohort to work with of kids who've been removed, and that's the kids who are close to aging out of the system, but have not been adopted or found a permanent family. And we are working on the idea of creating a specialty court where I would preside over cases that are engaged with these 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds to help them.
Which is truly needed.
Oh my God. One of the good things the state of Michigan does is it has made provision for, if a child will continue in the quote foster care system, they will continue to fund and help pay for college, pay for housing. They'll help pay for a car. They will really take the place of what that family normally would do to help that young person move more successfully into their adulthood. The problem is that, kids who've been in that system for that long just want out. I just want to go. I don't want to be under these strictures anymore. We want to create a court where we make it more palatable to these young people to be able to say, we're going to not only help you, but we're going to pay such close attention to you that you won't feel like you're still out here floundering around. So, specialty courts are the wave. There's veterans court, there's drug court, there is kiddie court, all these kinds of things. So we want to create this teen transitions court. And we're in the process of working through it. She's working on her end. I'm working on my end. And God willing, when the election comes out like it should, with me being the winner, we will bring that forward and into fruition in 2025.
How important is a judge? And this happens I'm just going to talk about judge races.
Okay.
How important is experience over that new shiny thing?
That new shiny thing being that robe, that courtroom, right? There's a term of art that is prevalent amongst people who have been on the bench. It's called black robe syndrome, and you probably heard that. Because where else in the world, generally, are people forced to stand up when you walk in the room, except court? All rise. You're the last voice on the situations that are before you, and you're not final because you're right, but essentially you're considered right because you're final. Your word is the last word. It is intoxicating. We were talking offline here before we went on. Pride is an incredible matter for we as human beings. Pride is at the bottom of probably just about every issue, you name it, and where we get off track, and down at the bottom, there's something about our pride that takes us there.
Mhm.
So, and here's the thing: I think we all go through it to some extent. Some further and more dangerously and more destructively than others. But I think all judges go through it at some point. I can certainly, I think, avow to the fact that I think I went through it. You know, you can kind of lose your way. Thank God that there are institutions and there's people and there's a praying wife and family and friends and everybody say, wait a minute, man, hold up. You know, you got to check yourself and your upbringing. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, teach a child in the manner that they should go, and they will not depart.
That's right.
I didn't say they wasn't going to depart for a couple minutes, but they'll come back. And you know, I'm so grateful to Arlena and Phil Pittman. My dad's birthday today, September 13th, 1921. I'm so thankful for what they implanted in me that helped me to get back and stay on track. And I'm certainly, I know I'm there. But there's nothing, I think, that takes the place of experience, you know. And that's, you know, that's one of the things that I think I bring to this race that I think certainly helps make the difference. We're all young judges at one point in time. I was one of the youngest judges to ever be appointed. I was appointed at 36 years of age. Excuse me. And, you know, everybody is new when they get to this point. Everybody's younger, or certainly have not traversed this ground before. But this is not a place for on-the-job training when you have someone in place to do the job. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So that's my point to the electorate, to the folks who are sitting out there. There's some folks, and my opponent has tapped into this statement that the time for change is now. And my question is why? And I have yet to hear her explain anywhere. Why is it time for change?
Now, will you guys be meeting up with debate?
Oh, we don't meet up. She doesn't come out. I'm telling you, we've been invited by the Qs and the Zetas. They were going to do a joint debate. Refused. We were invited by the Democratic Black Political Caucus. Refused. We are currently waiting, although I'm expecting that she's going to decline again. We've been invited by the Muskegon County Bar Association
That's
to
sort
appear.
of like the one everybody goes to.
Well, listen, come on, let's talk about this thing from Earth 1, not Earth 2. How do you figure you're going to want to convince the electorate that you want to be the judge of a county judgeship, and you will not appear and speak to the county lawyers?
That's what we have happening in Muskegon County right now. And it's not that we're picking on anybody.
That's a fact.
But that's a fact. The thing is that the invitation is extended out to your opponent to come out here and let people know what is her agenda.
NAACP, that's the other one.
Okay.
There are at least 4 invitations I'm aware of that I have accepted that she has declined. We're lawyers. Can I have just a moment?
Oh,
we're lawyers. What do lawyers do? Lawyers show up and present their case. That is essentially the responsibility of a person who calls himself or herself a lawyer. You have a position that you are staking out. Generally, it's for a client. In this situation, it's for yourself. You show up. You produce your evidence. You make the best case you possibly can for the position that you are advocating. It is absolutely 180 degrees the wrong direction for a person who wants to be a judge and make decisions about other people's situations, who is unwilling to stand on a stage or as we as lawyers do in a courtroom in front of a trier of fact, which in this case is the electorate, who have to hear the facts and then make a determination based on the presentation of the evidence that's been presented. Come on, man.
Wow.
That's exactly what this is all about.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're going to see signs. You're going to see billboards. You're going to see. I drove past a bench at a bus stop, and that's fly. That's a good look. Not one of those things makes the case or presents its position to you as a voter.
Wow.
It's just cute.
Listen, man, 3:00. Okay, so tell people if they want to write that big check and how can they get involved in your campaign?
Well, okay, so one of the things that's different about judicial campaigns is I can't solicit funds.
Okay.
I can't say to G-Man, if you were to go to www.judgepittman2024 and click the donate button, you could contribute. I can't say that.
Okay.
Wow.
Educated us today. Okay. I wasn't-
But you guys can. So maybe when I leave, if you'll just remind people that, you can go to his website and this is the website and you can donate there. Here's the other thing about judicial campaigns. Unlike other candidates who, when they raise money, they get to keep that money for the next race. Every dime that we raise that we don't spend, we have to return either to the people who gave it, or we have to contribute it, give it away to a legitimate 501c3.
Something that I did not know.
To avoid the appearance.
Yeah, to avoid the appearance of any impropriety or any undue enrichment. Oh, we are under such lock.
Wow.
About the things that we can do. That's what people don't understand. Can I say one more quick thing? G, I know you got to go. People will talk about whether they see judges and whomever in the community doing things or speaking up on hot button issues. You don't see judges do that. Why? Because the rules of ethics do not allow us to speak and have opinion about things that are occurring in our communities to a certain degree, because the potentiality exists that may become a matter that has to come before that court or the court that you serve on. So the rules say, Judge, your First Amendment right to speak like you guys might speak is truncated because this is the position that you hold.
Wow. Judge Pittman, listen, we so much we could talk about, but the show has to end. Listen, I'm glad that he talked about that, because what we try to do here is stay down, educate you right down the middle. We take this so far that I don't even put signs in my yard. Although I could say what I want. I don't, because we want to educate you. And with that said, listen, that's the show for this week. Go and sow a seed in somebody's life. You never know who you might touch. Take care. God bless.
I need